Okay. Right. Good evening, everyone.
Awesome.
We have with us here Peter Ayeni. Peter is a software developer front end with Privacy Code in the UK. Um, we've known for a while now. I think we met in 2017 at
Yeah.
Idea Sprint in
Yeah.
Abuja. So, and over the time we've been connecting and got to actually discuss
Yeah,
about a lot
that's
of things.
that's that's amazing. Actually, yeah, I just remembered now. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, welcome to this show once again. So, basically, what we're trying to do with this is to have conversations about topics that people might be interested in, things that people are going through that, or or what they really need answers to, or they want to find an experience that somebody that is similar to what they are going through at the moment. So, for today's topic, it's about navigating life, right?
Yeah.
So for most people, they consider life to be a journey, right? So a journey that you're moving from a particular point to another. And in such a situation, most times you really want to know where you're going or how to go to the point in which you have the destination you have in mind. So that's why we have Peter here to tell us, at least from his own experience, how the journey has been so far, moving from one point to another. For most journeys, there are different factors that people look into that might be useful for them. For one, some people might need a blueprint, right? So if you're going
Yeah.
from one point to another and you don't have an idea of what it is like, you need a blueprint or a plan to help you get to that particular position. Sometimes you need a compass, right, to give you direction as per where you're going to. So, Peter, I think you can have the time now just to tell us about your own journey so far. How has it been like?
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much, Nathaniel. It's really I'm so humbled to actually be able to be on this show and especially
Hello?
to share my story uh about what I've
When you're
been
back?
through. Yeah, so it's amazing, and I've known you for a while. I know we have had a lot of conversation, and I would say I really commend your grit. You've been one of the young person that I've seen that have a lot of grit. You've faced a lot of challenges, I know, and you've also have
Thank
some
you.
wins also. So, and I think that's how life is generally. Yesterday I was telling my wife because some of the things, sometimes you just look at yourself and you think back in retrospect. It's really, really hard. Sometimes some of the things I've experienced just make me cry. And when I share my experience, sometimes some people say, "Okay, we've experienced something worse than that." I'm like, "Yeah, but if you don't talk about it, it's not gonna help anybody." You understand? It's easy for us to say, "Oh, thank God, I'm successful now. I have this kind of money. I have this kind of car. I have this thing. I'm living my dream. It has only been the grace of God, and I am specially graced and things like that." You know, that is good. It's easy. I could say that,
Yeah,
and people like, thank God for Peter.
exactly.
Ayeni. He's amazing. God have answered his prayers and cool like that. But I just felt like it's a disservice to just put a blanket testimony like that and just round everything up to the fact that I'm just graced to do something.
Mm,
Between points A and B, there is always obstacles. There's always a lot of things that people go through. So, but most of the time, the stuff that people talk about is when they get to point B. They said, I'm
yeah.
grace and I thank God for this testimony and stuff. But we don't really get in between the lines of what actually
Yeah.
happened. And that is why in Africa and Nigeria, it has been difficult for people to be able to replicate other people's success stories. So,
Mm,
because we don't really share our stories of all those instant things that we do, all the hard work, all the nights, all the failures, so that we can be able to allow other people to strive. You understand? We just want to put things like, oh, it's a blanket statement, it's just God. So when you tell me that it's just God, like, am I not praying enough? I'm also praying. I'm
mm,
also a Christian. So why do you have 10 Christians in a room and it's one person that things is happening for, and the other person is not seeing any results? Or how do we have 20 Muslims in the room and just two Muslims that are rich and every other person are not? So it's because there's something they have that they are doing differently that other people doesn't know, aside from the prayers and the thanksgiving and the other things that we do. So I would say, for the benefit of a lot of people that don't actually know me, I'll just give like a little bit of introduction, and and I don't know how you want the flow to go. So if after the introduction you want to ask some kind of questions, so I'll go ahead, and always have some key point of things I would like to like discuss about based on our conversation. So my name is Peter Ayeni. Definitely. I was born in Ogun State, in the very small border town between Nigeria and the Republic. So this is one of the places that is very difficult to grow up as a child. Yeah, so because if you live in the border town, you know that a lot of things that are happening in those border areas are smuggling. We have a lot of smugglers, so that's the business of the day there. So even for me, as I can remember when I was younger, I remember I was being paid to get people out of the country in the like when you want to move from Nigeria to Benin Republic and you don't know your way. So because I grew up there, I know 1,000 ways to get out of the country from Nigeria to Benin Republic. So we help people move goods, we help people move individuals that didn't want to pass without, maybe they don't have their documentations or things like that. So that's the kind of environment I grew up. So you have where you have young people that have at a very young age have a lot of money to throw around because of these illegal businesses that they do. So aside from that, if we look at that background, I was someone like when I was born into a Muslim family. So because my dad is an allergy. That's the person I know as my dad. So I was born into a Muslim family. I was named Muslim. So you can see my tribe and my so I was like so my dad, so he's supposed to be an allergy. He's an allergy. He's from Osun State, and I went to Islamic Arabic school when I was younger. So I was named Abdul Wahid. So that was my name growing up. So
Just
Abdul
getting to know that for the first time.
Yeah, a lot of people know that I
Yeah.
went to Quranic school. I'm Abdul Wahid. So, but people that really know me very well know that. So, but because my mom is Christian, so she also have a Christian name for me. So she called me Peter and stuff like that. So, but the tricky part of why I'm saying this is this: when after that, when I got to about this 6 or 7 years old, so that was when I got to know that uh, my biological dad is actually a pastor. You understand? So my biological dad is a pastor, but someone that raised me is actually a Muslim. So growing up in that kind of situation is actually very confusing for a child. So even though my mom, because of her influence and everything, she always want me to follow her to church and things like that. But every time I go to school, my dad that I stay with that raised me, he always want me to like I will go to like Arabic school with other of my friends. You understand? So or and other kids and things like that. So that was how I was just doing the both things and everything. But at a point in 1998, an incident happened that actually changed my life forever. Because my mom, she's a businesswoman. She's doing very well at a very young age, so
Yeah.
she's doing fine. So one of these days, it was a Friday in 1998, and I was in school, and I just came. I was on the assembly ground when some people come up and said, "Oh, Peter, we need to see you, Abdul or something like that." So when I get there, and they said that I need to go home, I immediately know that something is wrong. You know.
Hmm.
So when I get home, when I was going, everybody was looking at me pitifully and things like that. So by the time I got to my mom's place, where my mom was, I discovered that two of my siblings were knocked down by a runaway driver, and they both died.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
when that incident happened, it's really defining moment for my family. My mom was devastated, so she cannot even hold herself together. So for months, and our business went down with that incident and everything. As in, we went from like at least what we call like a middle class average Nigerian to like poverty. So because of that, I have to like move out of private school. I was in primary three then, so I have to move to public school and things like that. So that was how all my dreams of going to private school and things like that shattered. Even though as a child, I was very, very brilliant. I was very good. Even at primary three, when they took me to public school, they put me in primary four. I was just too much for the class. They pushed me in primary five. I was too much for the class. Then they have to like take me to primary six, from primary three to primary six in public school, and that was why I really skipped some classes and I got to secondary school earlier than most of my mates because I was. It was just to. I was very brilliant like growing up. So, but after that incident, I lost myself really. Like I lost motivation for studying. I was like, there's no point. I did not go home because I was like, if I go back home, I wouldn't see my siblings. That would like traumatic for me. So I didn't go home. I was thrown into like some kind of self-slavery. So the family I was living with, they maltreated me a lot. Like I was a child. I will like, she will make me like wake up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning and I will sleep at 12. Can you imagine that kind of thing as a child? And I went through that kind of like it's horrific like as a child. I can't tell you what we did. So at the end of the day, I went back to after a year of going through that, I was practically sick. My mom came to pick me back. I finally went back to my mom's house. So it was really, really crazy. And after that, I just find out okay, I my mom also, because her business went down, it was really difficult for her to be able to go through all those things. So she was doing businesses out of the country, that is in Benin Republic then. So she would basically go to Benin Republic and work basically menial jobs and come back to feed us and give us money and things like that. So that was how we were coping. That was how I was going. That was what I was doing, and it was a really difficult moment for me. When I got to secondary school, I basically lost motivation. Like I wasn't schooling, I wasn't studying, I was playing, I was like a this guy about school. I was not doing anything that was really worthwhile with my life. I love vision of myself. My GS1, GS2, GS3 doesn't really, I don't have anything to live for. So something happened when I was in GS3. There was this man, a guy in SS1 then that I met. So it was, normally I don't even take my report card home because they were though actually my mom is not really Leonard, but when you take your report card home and they see a lot of red, people know that this is horrible. So when I take my report card, I don't take my report card home. Most of the time I lost it. Sometimes when I'm coming back from school, I just tear them apart. So my one day I got my report
Yeah.
card, it was really horrible. So and everybody was looking at their report card. There was this guy and a lot of people were surrounding the guy under a tree. And I went closer. What is wrong with him? And I saw that this guy had 9 distinction. He was in SS1. I was like, goodness, 9 distinction. How did he do it? So I asked about him. They said he's in science class. I was like, I knew I wanted to be a doctor when I was young, but I never knew how to be a science student to be a doctor. I don't even know anything about that because I don't have any mentor, I don't have anybody to like tell me anything about school. I wasn't even ready because there's nobody. It was just me, my mom. So we're struggling. Sometimes if I come back to school, I still have to go and work for my mom and do all those things. So when I saw what that guy did, I was like, if this guy can actually have distinction and in science class, why can't I do it? So that was why I was just going home alone that day. I was just thinking to myself, why can't I do it? I know I was brilliant when I was in primary school. I was good. Why can't I do this? And that was the turning point for me in my life. Like if he can do it, I can actually do it. I didn't have any conversation from him. I didn't have anything. So that was why when I got to SS1, miraculously I was put in science class. So and that was why I started studying self-taught. I will get books from friends, and thank God then my mom had a caretaker then. So the caretaker, she's the one that was the only thing that my mom that we had that is like a sort of income for the family when my mom business went down. So so that caretaker has a son, Mr. Israel Kweku, and I can't forget him. He was really amazing. And Israel Kweku is going to another school out of town, but this guy is really brilliant. So I talked to him. I told my mom that I want him to like coaching me in science and stuff like that. So that was how he accepted. So I would go to his place. This man is brilliant, mathematics and everything is so good. So I'll go to his place. He will teach me a lot of things. So and he will give me some of his old books that he have used in SS class and things like that. And that was why I self motivate myself and start saying that okay, I can actually do something different with my life. So and as time goes on, started doing that, and it would give me different books from his from SS1. I would start reading them and things like that. Before you know it, I started teaching other colleagues how to some things that are difficult for them. My SS1 result came out and I did well. I was one of the students that are now like very competitive in the class. In SS2, my SS1 also like the first time, second time, and third time. I have like I think credits all through, but I didn't have so many distinctions. I have like one A and one B or something like that. So later, then my mom said I have to move to Kwara State with my sister and things like that. So I was like, that is good. Maybe change environment can help me. When I transferred to Kwara State, I actually repeated myself because I want to have nine distinction like that guy had it. So that was what I did. And when I got to Kwara State, I actually repeated myself. They were like, "Your result is good. Why would you want to repeat?" I'm like, "No, I want to repeat." So I did my SS1 again, and I had like all distinctions throughout my first time SS1, and like I represent my school in National Biology Olympiad. I represent my school in National Mathematics Olympiad, cowbell. Like I did a lot of stuff there when I got to learning. Even though the school I was a public school, but like
Mm,
literally put the school on the map, and it was really amazing with some of other friends I met people from private universities. We were taken to Abuja for National Junior Science Olympiad and things like that, and we were just from public schools. So that was why I discovered that like you can be anything. It doesn't matter
mm,
where you come from. It doesn't matter where you are now. It doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter what your background is. You understand? So imagine someone that is just like self motivation. Like there's nobody that tell me that Peter, you need to put your heart together. I just saw someone as an inspiration. Like, okay, if this guy can do this, why can't I do it? So, and that is one of the things I try to do to people to show them example. Like, I have a very, very messed up upbringing. I'm telling you, like, I was just like talking about I'm not really going into the details. Like, I'm just saying some of the worst things that I've experienced as a child labor and everything. And despite all that, even when I moved to Kwara State at SS2, my own blood sister made me to hawk sleepers in this town of Ilori. That's how bad is it. So I would go to school and I will come back in the afternoon, do all the house chores and everything and then I would take the sleepers and I'll go and hawk. When I see my classmates, I can't have girlfriend. Girlfriend, how will I have girlfriend? I'll be hiding for my classmates. I'm telling you, I will hide for them so they don't see me hawking sleepers. Some of them will see me, they will just like, they know that I'm very brilliant. So to make up for that, I go back to home. I will stay up in the night while all of them are sleeping to be able to read, to be able to prepare for myself. You understand? So at a point, I have to like tell my right because there is no phone. I can't call my mom. I have to like write my mom and meet some people that helped me deliver the letter. And my mom was so furious. She just came one day and I was just about picking up the basket to go and sell whatever. And my mom saw me like, I Odeji, stop, put that thing down. Is this the reason why I bring my son to this place and everything? Because my mom was actually paying my school fees and everything, but she just like took advantage
yeah.
of that. That was why I moved to the hostel. Thank God my school, public school, they still have an hostel, and I was living. And that was when I've been living alone, myself. And I think that also helped. My mom really trusts my judgment. as a child because I would say that I grew up as a to become a thinking child. So because I look at my life like I have nobody. There's no. It's just this woman and some of a lot of my siblings. There's nobody looking after us. There's nothing. So I have to like take care of myself. So I was so serious, and sometimes I spend a lot of my time when people close from school and go home. I will sneak back and stay in the hostel throughout the holiday sometimes. So that I will be reading. So most of the time I go to night class and because my school is just between University of Ilorin and uh, College of Education because my school is ICT, so it's in the center area. There's a lot of higher institution around us. So most of the time I stay with young medical students in that institution. Like, okay, I want to become a doctor, so I do that a lot and everything. So I read with them, they encourage me. I'm like, I'm going to be like these guys one day. So and I think that's in help because you know in life there's no straight path to where you're going to go. You're not going to
Mm,
know. Like all my life, I've been preparing myself. Like, okay, maybe if I become a doctor, I can become wealthy and have money and take care of my family and things like that. So, but sometimes life is not like that. So that is why I'm also like, the next point I'm going to make is like in your journey, things are going to change. You have to be open minded. You have to be flexible. Aside from that, the world is changing very very fast, so you can't say that because you study agric you have to work on the farm, or because you've been preparing to study this thing, you have to do that. So you have to be very flexible and be able to change with time. So after my secondary school, I was advised to stay 1 year before doing jam. And during this period,
yeah,
that was when I was exposed to computers. So I was doing like some kind of, I would like call it IT or some attachment with an engineer I met in Ilorin, the engineer Elisha. Engineer Elisha was very brilliant. So he was like the head of engineering for University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital then. So he has a workshop where you can play with circuit. So I've been designing electronic stuff and everything. So I was so curious. So it was like a 10 years old daughter that first introduced me to computer. She was the one that taught me Microsoft Word. She was the one that taught me a lot of things, how to use mouse and things like that. I never have access to all those things growing up. And I was
yeah,
almost, if I'm not like 19 or 20, 19 or something at that time. So it was this lady, this young girl that taught me everything. Website designing, I saw it from that man from the first time I saw him design his own website. So that was when I was like curious about technology. Like, wow, you can actually break things apart and put them together. So that was like the second year. I was like, I registered for JAMB, but I never went to take the exam because I don't know. I was just like a cyber cafe and learning. So I started browsing a lot of things online about technology. I will subscribe to Oracle. Oracle will send magazines to me all the time. So because Oracle is very popular, then Oracle is like the de facto technology database. Then people do Oracle examination and certifications and things like that. So because I don't have money to do Oracle exam, NNIT, all those things. So I have like to be self-taught. So I started reading myself, training myself. Sometimes I will go to workshops and things like that. So I taught myself how to design and taught myself programming. So I actually okay, I learned some business of engineering, how to repair things if I have the money to do it. So if I have someone that knows something, sometimes I approach them and see how they work, workflows, and learn from that. So a lot of trial and errors and things like that. And that was why I embrace technology. I just feel like because if I don't have that gap here, I wouldn't see the love in technology. I was like, okay, I want medicine and I'll just do it. So in life, sometimes you're going to make a lot of obstacles. You're going to hit a roadblock. Sometimes you have to like sit down back and assess yourself. Like, what do I need to change? You understand? We
yeah,
can't, and that's the problem. We have so much going around because we focus so much on I have to get this thing done, I have to get it done without thinking about is there a different way I can do this thing that get the same results? Because at the end of the day, we all want to be happy, we want to be fine, we want to be good. And sometimes I know parents and society can be hard on us, but we have to be able to use that opportunity to give even us also we are becoming parents to allow to our children to explore things that they are going to love. You understand? And it helps a lot. So because my mom gave me that flexibility to be able to like explore things, to be able to like choose, and because of the fact that we don't really have so much choice myself, because she just trusts me like, okay, Peter, you know the right thing to do. You understand? So, and that trust is very, very important. So we shouldn't all assume that people are bad people. So we should be able to trust people that they can do good for themselves. They can take responsibility. So
Sure.
I think on
Okay.
that, you
Yeah.
asked about existential question.
Yes.
So I would like to talk about that. So
Exactly.
before coming back to some of the things I've achieved and how I've been able to do them, I'll talk about in life. Sometimes because of our background and where we were coming from and what we are exposed to, we kind of change our belief and thinking and orientation and the way we interact with our world. So if you look at me, for instance, I've been a Muslim. You understand? So I grew up in a Muslim environment. I was named a Muslim and things like that. I grew up from that. My mom started going to Living Faith. We were first member of the Living Faith when they came to early then. So I started doing that also. So at some point in my life, I always like find myself between these two worlds. Like, what's the right thing to do? Is it to be a Muslim? I have Muslim brothers right now. Is it to be Christian? I have Christian friends. I have Christian brothers. My mom too is a Christian. My wife is a Christian, and things like that. You know, and all these kind of questions come rambling upon you and things like that. And because of this village where I grew up, I was able to like dabble into little traditional things. So I have friends that they have these masquerade things and stuff like that. You know, when you are young, you are so curious. They teach me a lot of things about these, that does it work and this, that. So, and I was able to like do some of the daring things like that. So as I grew up, I kind of like start to overthink things, and like at the end of the day, it's all about love. We all want to live and to be good to each other. So for me, what I say about life is that
Yeah. Um, we're having a little network issue. Um, Peter. Hello, Peter. Okay. So what Peter was basically saying was the fact that um, he was also facing existential question,
sorry.
things about it's like okay, Peter has joined us back. You can go on.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I
Yeah.
this never happened before. My Wi-Fi just dropped. I was surprised. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that humanity first. Humanity first. We are all partly right or we are all partly wrong. So we shouldn't say that. Like one of the things when I'm in church, and sometimes pastors, they drop the mic and they want to talk about the Muslims, so that people don't hear and things like that. And for me, inside of me, I feel bad because I know I was a Muslim before, and I have families and friends that are Muslims. You understand? So if we think that all God is going to condemn all these people to hellfire, it's difficult to take in. So when I'm in Muslim gathering, a Muslim gathering, see Christian like they are getting it wrong. They are all going to hell. It's only Allah that can save you. I'm like, do you guys really get this thing? You understand? So for me, I just feel like we are good together than we are apart. You understand? So we should embrace love first. If you look at the Bible, Jesus Christ, and everything talks about the Samaritan man, and things like that. So what the demonstration there is not about religion. The demonstration is the demonstration of love. So that was I think is like all these things we are talking about. This one is good. This one is better than this. Is about love at the end of the day, and it's God to decide. It's not our place to decide that. So and for me presently, I just try to like to withdraw from any kind of religion attachment, either Muslim or Christian or something. So just to be able to see things in a more different way, and I want to be able to like bridge a gap, to be able to like reach out to more people, with the message of humanity, with the message of love, that we are all human at the end of the day. You understand? And sometimes there are some things in either religion I don't agree with. You understand? So maybe because of what I have tried. When people say things and things like that, I try to like voice my opinion in something. So I don't want to dabble into that so that we don't make this a religious conversation. But what I'm just
Yes.
yeah, what I'm just trying to say is that uh everything is love. Everything you are doing, just put love at the center of it. And we should understand at the end of the day, most of these people that are at the helm of religious affairs, some of them is for their own benefit also. If you look at what is going on, some of them is
Mm.
for their own pockets, for their own doing, is for control and things like that. We know all these obvious things. So we should try and put love at the center of everything that we do. I think it will go a long way to help. So finally, a lot of people ask me that, Peter, you are an atheist. Peter, you don't believe in God. There are a lot of Christians that when I voice my opinions, they are worried for me. Maybe I don't believe in Christ again. I've lost salvation. I've lost this thing. So for me, what I say for them is that most of the time people don't get it. Like, salvation and the love of Christ and everything is not even for you to decide. Number one, most of you guys don't even think about how I'm going to survive now, but you are worried about afterlife that nobody even knows what's going to exist there. So what about now? So even I don't know more about the Bible. I read the Bible a lot, but I may not be wrong. When Christ said that if your brother is hungry or something, don't say that let us pray. You understand? So if I'm dying, you don't, or I'm going through hardship, difficult situation, is yeah, my soul needs to be saved, but I need to take care of myself first. You understand? So we should be more about people. We should show love. So it is out of this love that every other things follow. You understand? So at the end of the day, people will always want to lean into place where they find more love, where they are being accepted for who they are, where they can be real, you understand, with themselves. Because we have to be true to ourselves. Life itself is messy, it's really difficult place. Just like for me, for instance, when I look at my life, I was raised, I was planning on writing a book called Born a Saint. So, because I don't look at my life like, okay, because my mom, she's actually married uh to the allergy. That is with the person she's with. Well, having an external affair with a pastor that gave birth to me. You understand? So that's a very difficult situation. That's
Mm.
him. But that is what life is. That is what real life is. So will I blame my mom for what happened? No. At some point when I was younger, I'd be like, my mom, why would you do that? Why you do this? But as I grew up more, I start to understand that life is complex than what we can just think about or why people do what they do. You understand?
Mm.
When you talk of life, when you talk of love and everything, people married, different things, why people do wrong things, or people cheat or something, or they do what they do. There are a lot of complexity to it. It's not just like they're just sinners. They just want to do whatever they want to do. There are a lot of things that happens in between the lines that is difficult to explain. You understand? So most of these things are very, very hard. You can't just say that you should be a good person. Why will you thief? Why? Yeah, I'm not saying that stealing, cheating, doing all those things is wrong. No, but I'm saying that we should understand humanity and the reason why people do what they do. There is more to it than what we
Okay.
can understand. You understand? So that's that. So
All right.
okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Thank. Yeah.
Okay, so next, so
Okay.
that's
So basically, you've answered most of the questions I was going to ask about the existential crisis.
okay.
Okay. All right. Go on. No worry. Don't worry. Go
Okay,
on.
yeah. So that's just one of the
Yeah.
things I
All
reason.
right. So let me just rephrase my question.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, sorry. So basically, you've explained how you view life now, at least from the perspective of love, right? Let us be loving to one another. Let's try as much as possible to understand that when things happen, there are so many things that are responsible. We can't really have all the answers. We can't really say this is why this person does that or this is why they did that. Ah, this is totally wrong, right? So we should try as much as possible to be more understanding, right? That way to help us to live a more peaceful life, if I may add that. But now I really want to understand, how do you measure the quality of life at the moment? You've seen a lot of things. You've grown from different backgrounds that have actually challenged your identity as an individual today. What would you say is the measure of the quality of life or quality of living?
Yeah, okay. I think for me at this point, when I look at quality of living or what quality of life is, I think just like a lot of people will say, they'll say like not you just becoming a success, but the ability to be able to make other people successful. You know, one of the things that actually give me joy personally is when I share my experience or when I tried to see people that have been in a position where I've been some years back, and I was able to encourage them and be able to like give them some little pointers and things like that, and things dramatically change for them. That actually basically give me a lot of joy. So what I think is that the only thing that could give you joy as a person is the number of smile that you put on other people, the number of people that you can genuinely help to become something that they thought they would never be. Recently I did this thing that people should design for COVID-19. So I just thought to myself, like, okay, this challenging period, there are a lot of creative young people. Let's just challenge them. It's not because of the design they're going to create anyway. Even when I sent the design to judges, the judges were like experts in their field. They were like, "Oh, these designs are not really good enough." I'm like, but we should just give them benefit of doubt. It's about encouraging people to know more. Even you understand, and the highlight was when the winner sent to me that, Peter, do you know that because of this design and winning this, I got an internship with an agency in Nigeria. That was the highlight of it for me. I was so excited. Like, I was so happy. I'm like, you think that I was the one that got the internship. I was so happy for him. I posted everywhere and it showed, like, it was amazing. And that is what life is. There are some points randomly. I'm not just saying this just because this thing, like, I could look at what we share and makes people smile. I have people that are on my Facebook list and things like that. I could just chat them up. Maybe they're just friend or not. I was like, okay, send me your account number, and I'll just send them something, and you know, there'll just be some like randomly, like those kind of hard. These people like they never expect maybe they will get something from me or they ask me anything or stuff like that. And you do that. Those are the things that I felt is the quality of life, the ability to be able to share little things that we have with a lot of people. Jesus Christ, the Bible said something like, even though we don't have much, we can make other people wealthy. You know, like people that don't have much, we don't. The life of Jesus Christ itself, because me, I really like the life of Christ a lot, even though I'm not a practicing Christian like that. But why no one's I like the life of Christ is that he's not wealthy in material things. But look at the billions all around the world that have become wealthy just because they mention Jesus. So that's impact it's itself. And that is how it should be. That is how our life should be. Our life should make other people rich. You understand? And that is why I frown at people that take advantage of other things. They just use the religion to enrich themselves, not even enriching other people. You understand? So I think that is the quality of life. When you look at the people that can able to change their life dramatically, there are so many that I can even remember. That can say that, oh, Peter, you encouraged me, saw this, and it's amazing. I receive a lot of messages all the day, every time, and that really keep me going. You understand? And there are some people that I would like want to help, but I can't. A lot of people don't understand the fact that, like, okay, even from even not now, because in my early days, I did not. After my secondary school, I was at home for like 7 years. I didn't go to school, so I was
Yeah.
working. I haven't started my company at 19. So I started making a lot of money when I was young. So I've been living alone, paying my own bills and stuff like that. Was like I got married like 20 something. So it was pretty early compared to a lot of my friends. So I've always been like that, like trying to like share the little I have with a lot of people around me. So and I don't live a very flamboyant life because I learned that from my mom. My mom, she's very, very conservative. So because she also became had a lot of money, his business was doing very well when she was younger. So and just like that. So I think that's one of the things that we should learn as young people to live very well below our earnings. Don't put yourself under any pressure. You don't have anybody to impress. When I got married in Abuja and I got a one-room self-contained. Nathaniel, you were at my house now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
see
yeah.
that? Yeah. So that was where I lived. Even when I got that apartment, my wife was like, Peter, why will we get this? Like, I've never seen a one-room apartment before. You know what I told her? I said, look, if my 1 month salary to 2 months salary can't pay my rent, I won't do it because imagine I have friends that I even earned more when I was in Abuja, more than but live in three-bedroom flats in the fancy estates, and they are paying me millions. I was like, why would I do that? So there is no point. There is nobody to impress. I When I was in Nigeria, I don't even have a car, not because I can't afford one. So, but because I look at okay, car is a liability. I'm not saying people shouldn't live and buy things that are expensive and that are cool that will help them. You can, but one thing is that before you do all those things, think very well. Don't spend flamboyantly on what you don't need because if you don't spend flamboyantly, it's easy for you to help people also around you.
Yeah,
I remember one day one of our friends in church were going through a lot of things.
yeah.
So and I had to give them some money to support them. They were very surprised that we could give them that kind of bulk of money. So why were we able to do that? It's because we were living so much below our earnings. You understand? We can manage with little we have. So if my landlord called me that Peter, I need my house rent, I just say okay, just give me 2 months because if I put my salary, 1 month salary safe can pay my house rent. I was paying like 250K in Abuja, and the money I'm making with my side jobs, even one contract can even pay that. So and it helped us even when we were planning to move to the UK and everything. The fact that we were living so like that really help
Lean.
us. Even when, yeah. So you live lane, you try to like enjoy quality life also, but at the same time,
Hmm.
grow yourself, grow your earning, grow your capability to earn. You understand? When I got my job right now at Prebisico, I'm doing fine and everything, but I'm building my capacity to be able to earn more every time. So that is the thinking we have to have at all time because there is no guarantee. Your employer can tell you you should go. So when they lay you off, what are you going to do? So
Hmm.
we shouldn't have the mindset. That's me. I don't have the mindset of entitlement at all. I don't think like anybody owes me anything. So because we are all human beings and situations happens. And why do I think that way? On Friday, I was in school. I took breakfast with my family members and everything, and every one of us go our separate ways. And in the evening, in the afternoon, I got that two of my family members are dead.
Hmm.
And that situation, all the business of my mom, all the affluence gone. I moved from private school to public school overnight. So that's life. If you are a billionaire, it doesn't mean that life can happen and you lose everything. So because of that, we should be very wise. So most of the time when I'm in the public, a lot of people don't really recognize me because I don't really dress like I am.
Okay.
Like yeah, so you understand. So I know a lot of my friends like they dress up suits and everything. I don't really do that. Like I really blend with the environment. So sometimes people don't really know me until I introduce myself and I said I'm Peter Ayeni. I'm like, oh, you're Peter Ayeni. So because I just feel like make people comfortable around you. Be cool. You understand? So it will not change my bank account. If you abuse me and say, ah, this wretched man, now, and you drive your car and you pass by me and you splash the water around my body, like that doesn't change who I am. You understand? It just
Perfect.
defines who you are. You understand? So don't let what you have, your environment, the kind of house you live in, to define who you are. Because if all those things are taken away from you, what else are you? You understand? So I
Mm,
try to be realistic as possible to people
perfect.
around.
Yeah.
My wife was like, why can't we get a car? I'm like, yeah, we could get a car now if I want.
Okay.
I'm like,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna get a bicycle. You can get a car. You're rich. You're a doctor.
Yes.
You understand? So that's just it. So we just like to be like, um, yeah. I think I'm going to talk about my wife and how I meet her. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Also, I
Yeah.
think it's something that can be discussed also if we still have time.
Sure, sure. We have 15 minutes, so I'll just rush through some other questions we do have
Okay.
during this. You talked about quality of life, right? And then you mentioned some things about not living a life driven by materialism, right?
Yeah.
So you live way below your means, even if you can afford it. I think the whole essence of, if I can assume, although I think one of your posts you said we should try as much as possible to avoid assumptions, but probably goal is to be happy with whatever you have, right?
Yeah.
So on the beginning of the month, you shared a quote from Albert Einstein where you said that a happy man is too satisfied with the present to dwell too much on the future, right? You shared that. I got that from Mr. And just to drive that particular question, what's your view on happiness? Like, what is it that you do that makes you happy?
Oh, I think just like the coach you said, like I like learning a lot. Like I'm a voracious learner. So for me, I would say
Okay.
learning make me happy a lot. So like in 1 week, this past week, I've done two boot camps, intensive one on AWS, serverless, and advanced React. So I always like reading also,
Okay.
and so but I think most importantly, learning make me really happy. And aside from that, I think also helping people. I always like,
Hmm.
though a lot of people see me very controversial and a rebel, which I know I'm a rebel because I
Of
really
course.
find hard to like even every organization I've worked with and everything. People think when I voice my opinion, they say Peter is because you are in the US, you are in the UK, you are abroad, that's why you're talking like that. No, go and check all my posts, even from years back. That's something you have known me, even when I was in Nigeria. I've always have that like I've always have contradicting opinion to what we
Of
always
course.
have. I should say like things can be different. This can be better. So I just say to myself like, okay, I know I deserve more. And sometimes you can find yourself in an environment that you felt this is not my ideal environment. You understand?
Okay.
So, and every society have their own shortcomings. It's not as if the abroad or the UK they are perfect. No, they are this. They are still their faults there. You understand? But it's just that there are
Hmm.
some things that we also need to do to change our orientation, the way we treat women, the roles of male and females, educations, and things like that, and even quality of jobs. Because you're a doctor, you talk to your carpenter as if he's a riffraff. You talk to your mechanic like, even though the mechanic is a married man with responsibility, you talk to your mechanic anyhow. You understand? So these are the kind of concept that people should change. You understand? When I was working in Yalian Press, we have security that are my security in the house we live. Work with them like you can't even see the difference. That's what love
Hmm.
is all about. That's what makes me happy. The ability to break barriers and be able to talk to people. People are surprised when they send me messages on Facebook. I respond to every message, no matter who you are. Some people are like, wow, thank you for responding. I'm like, like we're just humans like everyone else. So these are the things that actually
Yeah.
make me happy. And most of the time I live one day at a time. You understand? So I try not to think. I don't like to like over plan, even though I have an idea of what I want to achieve. But I like to like take everything one time at a time, seeing like today. Like that's the difference between me and my wife. Sharp contrast. My wife can plan everything like me, I don't live like that. I don't plan meticulously. So for
Yeah.
me, I'm like, my wife is like, this is the way to go. Me, I was like, if we don't go this way, we can go this way, we can go this way. So I don't, I just have that in my map up in my mind. So when we are
Yeah.
going and I look at this road, this block, I'll just switch back like this. But my wife, it's like this road is blocked now. Babe, this road is blocked now. What is happening? And I look at it and this and that. And sometimes it's most of us. Like because we have planned, we are going this way. And we got
Mm.
a roadblock. You're like, oh, I'm finished. I'm this. I'm like, guy, the road is blocked. Let's go back and go this way. So that's just me. That's what I do. Okay, let me share an experience. I missed
All
my
right.
flight in the when we were going to Yali. And when I missed I just got there like 10 minutes to boarding, and they were like, I can't board. We were two of us. That friend of mine, the second person she was devastated. She was like, everybody was like worried. I was just like, there, calm. You know, I now went to the counter. I told the lady in the counter, we missed our flight. What else can we do?
Mm.
That's the thing. Like, I've missed my flight. So I can't kill myself. Like, there was a guy also that missed his flight. Like, the guy was like running over the place and scattering everything. My homie is like, okay, this thing has happened. What else? And they were like, okay, you can actually shoot it for tomorrow. What do you need to do? I need to pay this amount of money. And I pulled money out over 300 something thousand and I paid. You understand? And that's all. I like money can solve it. So why worried? It is something that money can't even solve. Eh,
All
like,
of the differences.
yeah, that's why I think like if we hit a roadblock, what else can we do? Is it for me to like for instance, if I get to work on Monday and my work job says like Peter, you can go. I'm like, yeah, my dad died though. I just like sat down, take a cool water. I'm like, this is bad. So what else? So and that have really helped. And I think we should always look at because the thing is that when you are scared and you hit a roadblock and you are devastated, you can't think. Any other thing you do at that time will just multiply the errors you'll be making. And before you know it, you
Mm.
find yourself in the rabbit hole and not be able to mitigate the situation. So that's why we
Mm.
need to be
Yeah.
like, just be calm, chill, take cold water. What when we are planning something, my wife is like, I'm like, what's the worst case scenario? But like, okay, this is the worst case scenario. So what are the other things that we could do? And so I think there is nothing that happened in this world today that people have not experienced
Yeah.
before. Even COVID-19, they have had similar experience before in the 19th century.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
understand? So that shows us that we can overcome this thing. You understand? So and that is my mantra, and that is how I see life here.
All right. Thanks. You really said a lot just within a short time. Part of what you said is the fact that there's no single pathway to life. Like it doesn't have to be a straight line. There
Yeah.
are different ways to actually achieve whatever you want to achieve. I mean, look at it. You wanted to be a medical doctor, right? And today you're a programmer, and
Yeah.
you're quite quite okay with that. I, for one, I wanted to study computer science. I was so passionate about this thing, but I studied geography, right? But still, that didn't stop me from
Yeah.
pursuing what I wanted to pursue. So I think when we face roadblocks, it shouldn't be the end. We should always look at other possibilities that
Yeah.
we can actually do. Just briefly, since we don't have much time, you wanted to talk about how you met your wife. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
That's good. So
yeah.
if you are single, and even though I'm not an advocate of people should get married, I prefer you should be single because you enjoy your life a lot as a single person.
Okay,
No,
that's quite radical.
yeah, that's right. I was talking to a friend of mine that is single. He was like, "Oh, Peter, you married so young. I like it." I'm like, "No, don't get married. Have fun, a lot of fun before you want to get married. But if you really, really want to get married, you can." So I think the thing is that uh, for me, I've always loved the fact that to get married early, and why I did that is because I've worked with a lot of people that are really amazing people that make a lot of money while they are young and they got married very late, and they are really scared of putting their empire on their kids that are very young. So I think that is like a myopic thinking of let me just get married and have children when you are young and just forget about
Yeah.
them, date and move on. So yeah, so that was it. But the thing is, I think the irony of the relationship between me and my wife was that because after my secondary school, I did not actually go to university. So most of my friends, if you're in university, it's cool. You can date, and you know that okay, after 4 years degree, you do NYSC. After NYSC, you have your job, then you get married. That's what most people do. But for me, I couldn't because it's even difficult to ask girls out. To be like, what are you? The mantra is, what are you studying? What are you doing? I mean, which
Who you?
I'm like CEO or things like that. Like, what does that even mean? Me a graphic designer, you're a brand something. No, but like today you can say I'm a graphic designer or a photographer. People be like, wow, you are cool. But then it was like, what's nobody cares. Like you're a computer programmer, you're a web developer. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything to
Yeah.
anyone. So it was really difficult then. But I think even though me and my wife were both in Ilorin, but we never met each other. So we were even in the same, I would say, vicinity when we were in secondary school because she lives on quarters on University of Ilorin campus, and my school is actually close to that place. We never met,
Yes.
so we met. We actually got connected via Facebook. We were friends on Facebook. A lot of my friends were my wife's friends. So when when, when we met, we it was as we were in, I was in Lagos when we met. I was doing my international trip. So it was like
Okay.
for 5 years after not going to some like I need to do something. So I was in informatics then. So and when I was in informatics, it was self-sponsored and everything. So there was a time that I didn't go to school early. So they were like, I have to like go and do some it's an internship or stuff. So I was in Lagos. So my wife also was in 400 level medical school. So she was in on holiday in Lagos,
Okay.
and both of us were in Daystar. So Daystar anniversary, 17 years anniversary was on that day. So she now posts on Facebook like, wow, because the rendition from the choir was amazing, and she now posted on Facebook, and I saw it. Wow, so you are in church, and that was where we just saw that post and I respond to it and I got to her
Yeah.
DM. Hello, we're in church. I was in church. You
The power of DM.
yeah. So that was where we got to. And the point was it that I just broke up. It not I will not say broke up. Someone just broke up with me actually. So and it was a
Hmm.
terrible breakup. So and I felt like I'm not going to go into any relationship anymore. So I wasn't thinking about
Wow.
any devastating for me. So when I met her, I was just like, when we have some kind of breakup and you just want friends, you don't want someone that you just talk to. That's all. And we actually complement each other. Like we talk a lot, and she was able to like fill that gap. So we just became friends. I never had any intention of relationship or anything. Aside from that, she's a medical student. I'm just doing my diploma.
Hmm.
Can you imagine? Like the gap was really not. So after some time, she was like, "This is your friendship, and this is not talking about what are you really aiming at? What do you really want from me?" So when she posed that question, I'm like, "Yeah, this girl, she's amazing. I liked her a lot." So and a lot of our friends are friends, but we don't really know each other. I'm like,
Yeah.
just point it out to her, like, babe, I like you. Like, I really want us to be in a relationship. But like, you're like a kind of girl I like to marry. As in, that's a very awkward way to ask a lady out. That just telling them like, get to go marry. And she was like, oh no. So that was how you have been doing all this nice guy and this thing to me and everything. Let's back off and everything. But after some time, like, okay, no, let's just backtrack from that and just be friends. So we were like friends for like I think 400 level to 500, 600 level, and as it was when she get to 600 level, we started getting serious and propose to her and like that. She need to get her conviction and things, everything. And my wife, she's have this Christian standard of things, doing things. I have no like, I like you. That's all. She's like, no, you like me. I know, but it's not enough. I need to pray. So she has like pray about it and things like that. So
Yeah.
I said, okay, cool. I have not prayed about it, but I just know I like you. That's all. So So one day she told me, like, she sent me a Bible passage. Like,
Okay.
do you remember that part of the Bible when is it Peter and Paul were in prison or something, and the
Yeah,
church were
yeah,
praying,
sure.
and Peter was like knocking at the door, and nobody answered, and there was a
Yes,
damsel
yes.
lady that answered, and her name was
And they
Rhoda.
sent a
Yeah, and it was Rhoda that actually said that, hey, Peter is outside. You guys stop praying. So she said that was what gave her the conviction because she's Rhoda, that's her name, and I'm
yeah.
Peter. I'm like, oh goodness, what a
Ah, I
coincidence.
see. Yeah, okay.
Yes, okay, so I'm the
Well,
Peter, the Rhoda that found that Peter. So I think that was it. I think that our story was really inspiring because basically if you want to look at in terms of education and things, even then my business and everything I was doing, I have the potential there, but she see that she was able to see that raw materials. She was able to
mm,
like me for who I am. And even when we met, I'm not the kind of fancy kind of guy that a lady will like troll around. So because I have very, very simple, sometimes I was just like my palm and dirty Jane, this physical tech guy that don't really care about fashion, just nerdy technology books and stuff like that. So, but she was really amazing,
yeah.
and we've been on at least going to 5 years now, and with Jason. So, so it's
Yeah.
really cool.
Thank you, Baby Sola. You really did a good one for Peter. I mean, look at the transformation.
Yeah,
Yeah, so um, it's a wonderful. Sorry?
yeah. I'm just saying that she rescued me.
Okay. Yeah, so basically, it's a nice one. So, okay. Um, all right. So I think we'll have to round up now because we are actually 2 minutes ahead of schedule. So just quick on the other questions, but then what would be your advice for youths about how to approach life? Just a quick summary so we can end on that note.
All right. So, I think my advice to youths and young people out there is that number one, you have a lot of advantage over me. Why I say you have a lot of advantage is that if you have your two parents, if you grow up in a loving environment, you understand, you grow
Hmm.
up, you have siblings, you have brothers, you have people that can support you. You have, even today we have social medias, we have mentors, we have fellowship and everything. That means we have a lot of advantage than me.
Yeah.
So if I can be able to do whatever I do at that time and be able to turn my life around without so much all of these resources around me, I think anyone can be able to do it. And one thing I used to say most of the time, the next innovation, the next technology, the next solution is going to come from any part of the world. So
Sure.
we are now on the plain level ground, especially with the advent of technology and internet. So, like, you can look up anything, you can learn anything. You understand? And don't let education, whatever it is, to limit you. I don't have anything against education, but I just feel like sometimes educated people are very, very entitled. And so don't be entitled about life. Don't feel like people hold you anything. Don't be embittered about people. Don't think like your parents hold you everything. Don't think that your parents, if not for them, if they have not sent me to private school, I would have been better. No, don't think about that. So look at what you have been served, right? And take that to your advantage. We are all served different things. So, and there's nothing we could do about it. Like, we can't change that really. So just look at what life have served you and look at how can I turn this around and use all those resources and all these things that I have right now to my advantage. So that's what I would say. And the thing is that don't dwell on just one ideology. Don't dwell on one way of doing things. Let's try and be open-minded. Try different things out. You understand? If you like photography, yeah, pursue it. If you think you are struggling with it, try something else. You can add your photography, add a little bit of music, add something to it. Like, you can be well rounded and then you discover what you really love and then you can focus more attention on that thing. You understand? So it's just a way of problem solving that I've learned, design thinking. So it's about when you are faced with problems in different area of your life, just think about like how can what are the different options do I have to solve this problem? If I didn't go to school or I can't afford going to an expensive school, what can I do to mitigate that? So I will give an example. When because when I moved from private school to public school, it was very difficult for me. So because public school, you don't have a lot of resources that you can use to do anything or achieve a lot of things. So what I try to do is that what can I do to be an advantage of people that were in private school? So I just need to put more work into it. So that's what I did. So when we went in secondary school, I was selected for International Junior Science Olympiad, and they gave us the syllabus. You imagine a public school with all those kind of uh uh syllabus they give to us. Those syllabus were in A level syllabus. Even we don't even have resources. Our teachers cannot even help us. So what did I do? I take money from my pocket money that my mom sent to me, and I went to a bookshop and bought biological science. I bought Neckan and Parker, and I
mm,
bought so I was just saying that when the world serve us something, we can take advantage of that thing that we have served to be able to use that thing to transform our life. So I was giving an example when I was selected for International Junior Science Olympiad in secondary school. I was going
yeah,
to publish, but do you know that we were selected because in Kwara State I came out to be one of the top 10, and the top 10 people will go to the national level. So
yeah,
now the syllabus for International Junior Science Olympiad, they are A level syllabus. They're even more than WAEC. So, and our books and everything cannot do it. Even our teachers, most people that went to private school, to Masadeo Miyoko and some other private school around the country, they actually have coaches, they have libraries, they have everything. So, what did I do? I took my own personal pocket money and went to a bookshop. I bought Nesson and Parker. I bought biological science, and I bought Cambridge chemistry, the three of those books that I need for International Junior Science Olympiad. I schooled myself with my other colleagues, the
mm,
that we work together. Yusuf, he also is a doctor now. You understand? We have to like teach each other, spend all night to be able to achieve that thing. And at the end of the day, I think when we did the national one, I was fourth nationally in in
wow,
Nigeria. Well,
wow,
if I give it, I'm from public school now. We cannot even do anything. We don't have any stuff, and I complain. We failed already. But I was like, what can we do to mitigate the situation? And we went to studying. I finished biological science when I was in SS2.
wow,
Everything. Biological science A level. I finished it when I was in SS2. By the end, before my SS3, I finished my X syllabus because you cannot even use all those syllabus to do all those international competitions. So that is how life is. If you have to work extra hard than your friends that have everything figured out for them, you have to do it because you have to pay for it somewhere. You remember on my post, I post sometimes that you have to put the work into it.
yeah,
Some of people, their parents have put the work for them, so they don't have to
mm,
work so hard. So someone is always leveraging on something. Like for instance, I didn't have access to a computer until I was 19.
wow.
My son have been using Mac since he was 6 months.
Yeah, I saw he broke it recently, and you had to get him another one.
Yes, so you can compare.
Yeah,
Jason may not work as hard as I do. He will not. You understand? Because someone have paid the price. Someone have done the work for him. So
mm-hmm.
is it someone doing the work for you, or you have to put the extra work yourself? So and that's how life is. So leverage where you can leverage, but where you need to put the work, as young people,
But,
try and put. So when you put the work, at the end of the day, it will pay off definitely.
mm,
So a lot of people have gone through other things that we do. Look at, for instance, uh, Michael Faraday. Michael Faraday self-schooled himself. Benjamin Franklin self-schooled himself. So there is no limitation really. It's only the limitation we put on ourselves. You understand? So in as much as we think that okay, I can do something, prayer is good, it's amazing, but at the same time, know that God is for everybody and is for nobody. That's how God is. It's a constant. So, but the effort that we put into things, into getting things done, is the most important thing. So, I would like to close with this. An analogy from the Bible. And I used to say this most of the time to my wife when she's trying to get something and it's not coming forth.
Yeah.
There is this woman that is very poor and she needs justice for her child. And because she doesn't have money to get the most expensive lawyer in town, she doesn't have the money to pay them. So the only thing she has is to ask. She will go to the lawyer, the best lawyer in town, please avenge my child, avenge me, give me justice. And the lawyer was like, you are a troublesome man, you don't even have money, go away. But did the woman go away?
No,
No.
no, she
He will go back again the next day. It's go away. He will go back again the third day. I said you should go away. If you go back again the fourth day, one day like this woman, just because of your trouble, let me just go. Yeah, let's go. Let's go to court. So I'll follow you. That is what life is all about.
mm,
Life will not hand over things for you. You have to continue and persistently knocking. So, and when you are knocking persistently, doesn't mean that you have to be doing it the same way. If you try this, it doesn't work. Try this. If Thomas Edison had been doing it the same way, you will not get light bulb.
sure.
You try this, it fails. You try again, it fails. You try another way, it fails. You try another way, it fails until you get results. So that is what you do. But don't never quit. Don't just keep trying, keep knocking. And no matter how wicked that person is, you're like, okay, yeah, take, stop troubling me. And that is the
Mm,
universe. It will always give it to you. So don't stop troubling me because you want it so bad and you get it. You understand? So yeah, I
thank
think
you.
that's the advice.
I mean, it's on a perfect ending note. Thank you so much, Peter, for these wise words, if I'll use that. It's really been helpful, and I'm very sure that a lot of people who are listening as well as have actually benefited or learned one thing from the other. From the comments, we could see Yaya. Thank you for coming, Oluwatosin, Patience Ojoma, Oluwatosin, Olayinka, Mimi Wena, Prince James, Olasupo Hafiz, and Kelvin Ayeni. Thank you all, and for all those who watch at one point or the other, thank you for coming. Peter, I
Yeah.
really appreciate your time. I hope we do this some other time. Maybe we could talk on another issue some other time. Thank you once
Yeah,
again.
definitely. Maybe an issue that is not so as hard as this.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone. See you upper week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, don't take life seriously. I think I'll help with
Yeah.
that. Life should be fun. Thank you,
Yeah, thank
Nathaniel.
you. Goodbye, everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, bye everyone. Thank you.